Good morning, guys, everyone. How's everybody doing this Tuesday morning? It is my Friday, so that is always a good thing. Only got one more night of work. I'm at about 93% back to normal, so that is a plus. Um, Hello, Mr. TC Blaze, Mr. Ed Durbin, Mr. Pete, and Mr. Drummer. Hope y'all are doing well this morning. I've already said how I was doing, so good morning, Michael. So there's hundreds of things I love about this community, but recently I've realized there's one thing I don't like, and that is all the catty cliques of people. Good morning, Scott. That seem to dwell in this community and have nothing better to do than talk about another man's business. So I said I wasn't going to address this any further, but I feel it's kind of gotten to the point that I've got to address all the lies and misinformation. So there's a couple of eighth grade girls named Bonnie Dress and Paula Definitely Will for a Dollar who are spreading lies and misinformation publicly on YouTube and other places that are patently false. I'm not sure if they're aware of the definition of slander and libel, but spreading false statements about someone publicly is against the law, especially if it's done maliciously without any kind of proof. I've been very clear about my involvement with this whole situation and spelled it out in great detail. And I don't have any worries about them having any kind of proof because there is none. I've got over 200 hours of live video here on these mornings, and not a single time ever have I mentioned that I was going to Blade Show to take any pictures of any knives or to send any pictures to any makers. I talked about one story one time where I sent a few pictures to a guy who didn't even use them. The knife wasn't even produced in America, and I've been completely honest about that. So at this point, I don't want to be litigious about this, but if they continue, they leave me no choice, especially now that I'm monetized on YouTube. They're directly affecting my income. And they're welcome to call my bluff and keep on spreading lies, but I don't think that's a smart thing to do. I've got the money for attorneys and don't mind turning over all my private messages and emails and any public statements I've made because I have nothing to hide and haven't said anything malicious about anyone in this community. I'm just curious if they're ready to do the same. I'd also like to remind them that this knife community is a small place and there's plenty of proof of them slandering me publicly with unprovoked claims. Neither one of these little girls has taken the time to reach out to me directly or speak to me directly, and therefore are basing all their statements on stuff they don't know anything about. I know that being transgender is the in thing and cool to do, and I'm happy for them and will totally support them if that's what they've chosen. But I think it might be nicer for y'all to go back to trying to act like men instead of little junior high school girls. I think it might be a better look for y'all. I couldn't imagine spending my days talking and gossiping about another man and what he chooses to do with his life. And I guess living rent-free in people's head really is a thing. I didn't realize it was true, but I guess that's true. I do like replica knives and will continue to do so, especially when it comes to overpriced production knives. You're allowed to have a difference of opinion on that issue, but what you're not allowed to do is make up lies and slanderous comments about me and say and post them publicly with malicious intent. That's another one of the great things about this hobby is that we're all entitled to what we like and support what we want to, But we're not allowed. But what we're not allowed to do is slander someone and try to force our views upon them. If they were smart enough, they'd realize that they're not going to change my mind, just as I know I'm not going to change theirs. So I've said what I've said. I would welcome them to find any kind of proof of the things that they're commenting about publicly on comments and verbally in videos. But there is none. So I've said all I'm going to say about it. If they continue, I guess I'll have to take it further. But I've said what I'll do, and I will. I don't fear any man, and if they keep on and really want to get what they're asking for, they can get that too. So I'm not going to Blaze Show scared of anybody or going to back down from anybody, because I have my views, you have yours. We're both entitled to them. So like I said, that's all I'm going to say about it. Now, let's get back to knives. So I'm sick of it. I'm sick of the catty BS that goes around with these little kids and the cliques. And I'm addressing it for the last time. I've said what I've said. I mean what I mean. And it is what it is. So last night at work, I carried a couple of weird knives. One I got yesterday that I'm going to go over something really weird about it. Pete, don't let on what the secret is about this thing, but I'm going to open it up and show y'all what's crazy about this knife. But this is the Ontario Carter Prime. It's one of those cheap little $50 titanium knives that I'm sure a few of y'all have thought about trying out. I found one on the Chinese knives subreddit the guy was selling, and I got it for $30. So I couldn't pass it up because I was going to try it out at 50. So I thought, hey, at 30, might as well. So I carried that in my front pocket last night. And then last night I carried one that's slowly becoming one of my favorite knives, and that's the Anthem. I've carried it quite a bit in my back pocket. I love this little thing. I love the coil lock on it and how tight it is and how it feels like a frame lock. Super solid. Super cool knife. I need to clean up my table. I've got a mess here. I've got boxes stacked up so high y'all can't even see, but there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's 8 knife boxes stacked up here to the right, and I got all this crap on the table. I need to sort some stuff and put them in cases. But yeah, I had this in the back pocket. And then before we go any further, I skipped the Discord yesterday, and there was a couple of super cool posts in the Discord that I wanted to highlight. Starting with what Mrs. TC got for Mr. TC, and that is this lion steel right here that has his name on it. So that is an awesome gift. Super cool knife. And then also, I forgot to show what Pete did to his knife, which was he redid the blade on it. And he did a lot of work to that knife. He's been refinishing knives like people buy used cars and fix them up. He's been doing the same with knives. And that's super cool because you can take knives that people will give away for a lot cheaper than they should and bring them back to the way you like them. So good job on that, Pete. This was Ed's carry last night, I guess, to work. And it looks like he might have polished that knife up. I believe that's the Frack. I think I've got one of those. I had a yawn. But it looks like he might have polished it up a little bit. Is that the case, Mr. Ed? Yeah, and with my statement earlier, I'll give them a few, a little while to look up some of the words I used, like litigious, so they'll actually know what I was talking about. But after they figure that out, then, the statement stands. Let's see, what else is in the Discord? Oh yeah, I posted what I carried last night. TC said he lost a couple of pivots this morning, and I'm confused at what he's showing us here, unless that's the wrong. He's got two pivots on one knife or something, or he's got the wrong call. I don't know what's going on with that, TC. What's going on with that picture? Is that the wrong pivot in that knife, and that's how you found it, or is there one inside the knife? Like, I'm confused. And then what is it? Oh, Sever 7. Yeah, this is that weird Chinese website, huh? That sells some of those weird knives. Or maybe not. No, this isn't that. That's something else. That's a wild looking knife, Sever. What in the world? You have to rotate it to open it? Well, didn't even get to see it really open. One of the best mass production brands. Let's see, where are we? We just went to Firefox, I guess, so let me see where that link took us. Oh, it took us to that same video, I guess. I'm still confused about that. It looks like he rotated it open, but he didn't finish opening it. Is it a geared mechanism to open it all the way? Do you know, Sever? Oh, you put two on one side? I got you. Now I understand. Yeah, that's a wild looking knife, Sever. You know what's up with the gear mechanism on it? I guess I asked that already, huh? So, what is the weird thing with this knife? Well, I'm about to show you, and you will probably trip out if you're like me, and it was the first time you'd seen something like this. Because when I opened up this knife, so when I got it, the action on it was just a little too tight. So I checked the pivot. The pivot was tightened sufficiently. And so I could tell that the lock bar was rubbing too much on it. So I took it apart to relieve a little bit of lock bar pressure. And when I took it apart, something very strange happened. And let me get out my little bags here, because I've got part of the strangeness in one of these little bags. So I ended up having to go through and try a bunch of stuff to fix this knife. It was not very enjoyable, but I did get it where it's perfect now. So that's good. But it was pretty wild what I had to go through and what I saw when I opened this thing. So in here I've got some of my skiffs, and I've got one of these baggies has some parts that originally came in this knife, and that is this bag right here. So I want to show y'all what is going on with this thing. So let me get my tools. Which one's which? That's the little one, that's the big one. We'll start with the little ones. So yeah, this is a full titanium knife. I believe it's D2 blade steel, maybe. Made in Taiwan for Ontario Knife Company. Carter Prime. Oh, okay, Sever. Thank you. Yeah, I wondered if you had to use the gears or if you could still flip it open. Pretty wild. All right, so I got this far, and then I went to open this thing up, and I took the pivot out, and I opened up this side. Now, the insides are different than it was, so I want to show y'all what was actually in here when I opened it the first time. And on each side of the scales, inside the scales, there was a big fat washer. These big fat washers, whoops, you can kind of see what's going on here. So I tripped out when I opened this thing up. These big fat washers were inside the scales. And then when I opened it up, I noticed that a bunch of balls started falling out everywhere. So this knife had no bearings in it. All it had was little grooves cut in the blade on both sides. Okay, so let me show you what I got now going on. So it had these little grooves in the blade, and then it had all the little bearings just loose. I can't really show you that, but it had all these little balls sitting around this little track, held in by oil only. So not non-captive bearings just floating around these two little rings on both sides. So in order to keep those balls in place, you would have to oil them up and somehow balance it so it's made to not take apart at all. Because once you take it apart, those balls go everywhere, and it would be very difficult to get them all back in the track on both sides of the blade at the same time, just using the surface tension of oil to hold them in place. So there's no bearings. So I thought, well, maybe I can pop something out here and put a bearing in there. Well, no, that's just milled into the blade. There is no insert there. So this knife, you probably void the warranty when you open it up because there's no way to fix it. So I went through, and like I said, it came with these giant thick washers inside the scales. So each one of them had one of these inside the scale. This is the outside, or no, that is the inside. It had one of these on the inside right in here. And then it had the little bearings in those little channels. So I went through all kinds of combinations trying to figure out something that would give me the right width for the pivot to tighten fully and there'd be no blade play. Good morning, folks. And I finally found a combination that worked. I tried skiffs. I tried a smaller bearing with washers on both sides of the bearing. And the combination that I finally found that worked are putting, and I didn't want the bearings to ride against this track on the blade because the ball bearings on here won't match up with the tracks on here. And I would have, good morning, Knives Are Live. Yeah, that's the Carter. It's got, it came with, check this out, folks. It had non-captive bearings. It had little tiny bearing balls. He said balls. It had these little bearing balls around that track. I can't even get two of them in there. It had the bearing balls around that little track that's milled into the blade on both sides. And as soon as you took it apart, those balls just went everywhere. The only thing that was holding them in was oil. So to put it back together after you take it apart, you would have to soak those in oil, put all those balls back in one at a time, get them to hold on both sides of the blade somehow, and then get it back together. So if any of you buy one of these, I will tell you the combination that works. to fix it where it even has better action, a lot better action than it had. So what you do, like I was explaining, I didn't want the bearings to rub against the blade part because they wouldn't line up with the tracks and the balls in the same place. So what I decided to do was put the bearings against the scales and then take a little washer and put it on top of the bearing so that when you put the blade in, the blade is sitting against that washer. Let me make sure I got all those little balls out of here. I'll screw something up. But yeah, I put the washer on top of the bearing and then put the blade. It does have a captive pivot at least, so that's cool. But I put the washer on top of the bearing, then put the blade on top of the washer, then put another washer on. And these are little thin washers, like pretty standard washers. And these stamped bearings are the 1.58 millimeter, I believe. And then you put that bearing back on, and that bearing will go right into this side of the scale. And that made it to where you can tighten the pivot perfect, and the action is perfect. Very smooth. And I did relieve some pressure from the lock bar because it did have too much. But now, when I put it back together here, you'll see that it has great action. And no side-to-side play. But it took me like 3 combinations of stuff to get it right. Every time I tried, I would have a little bit of... The pivot would bottom out. The threads on the pivot would bottom out on the other side, and it wouldn't be tight. Or it would be too tight, and the backspacer wouldn't tighten up right, and it messed. But you can get this as tight as you can get it now. And something messed up. Oh, hold on. Did I get something wrong? Oh, I probably didn't. Yeah, that bearing didn't fall into the other side of the scale yet. Dang it. I had it perfect before did I put the wrong washer in? No, it's probably got one of those stupid balls in there. Yeah, something ain't right. Hold on. I did this a bunch last night, so I'm surprised it didn't go back just perfect, because I did it 2 or 3 times. But of course on video, and y'all could see when I was opening it before how it was perfect. And then you go to try to do something on video and it messes up for sure. It's probably got one of those little balls in there somewhere, because I was trying to show. Yep. I see those little balls. Hold on. Oh wow. There was one of those little balls between it crushed it when I tightened it. Wow. All right, let me make sure I got all those little balls out of there. That's what the problem was. I had one of those little balls stuck in here somewhere. It crushed it on this washer. You can see where it left a mark where it... Oh, it actually broke the washer. Check that out. I broke the stupid washer because of that little ball was in there. That's pretty crazy. All right, so do I have another one of those? Why, yes I do. Somewhere in here. Yeah, I had to go through my bag of bearings. As you can see, I've got lots of sizes and shapes. And I think there's another one of those same washers, hopefully. I tried these copper ones. They weren't big enough to go over the pivot. I I swear I saw one in there. There we go. There's one. Man, it's always nice to have a bunch of extra parts, because I wouldn't have been able to fix this. I almost had it fixed with these like Chinese skiff ones. These right here that they're fully caged. These almost worked, but they were a little too thick. I couldn't get a washer combination right. All right. Make sure I got all those little stupid balls out of here. I can't believe when I took this thing apart, that it just had those things everywhere. Make sure there's not one down in the pivot. Good grief. What a headache. All right. Put one of those on. Make sure the blade is clear. No little balls. Put the blade on. Put the other washer on. Oh, yeah, I think there was a ball on the back of that washer. All the oil I had on here probably didn't help, as far as hanging onto those little balls. All right. No balls on the inside of that. Should be good this time, hopefully. I don't know what happened that last time, but something wasn't right. That's for sure. Like I said, if you want something to fail, just do it on video. Yeah, that felt way better. I could kind of tell something was up when I was tightening that pivot, because it didn't feel right. Y'all talk amongst yourselves for a minute. I know this is riveting TV. Hopefully it doesn't make me out a fool and works right when I get it closed this time. I'm pretty positive there was one. I mean, yeah, there was one of those little balls in there. I know there was. I saw it fall out. But boy, last night I was shocked when I opened this thing up. All right. Blade is centered. It'll just take a couple little times to get it perfect, get the tightness perfect. There we go. Back to normal. You don't have to shake it much to get it to close. But it's a lot better than it was. It was real hard to shake when I first got it. You had to shake the heck out of it, because there was a lot of lock bar tension. Now I get that oil running on the detent ball. There we go. Action's getting back like it was. So anyway, pretty wild thing with that knife. I'm not even going to try to... I collected those little balls last night and tried to keep them all, but I'm not even going to try to do that now. But yeah, buy you a bunch of extra stuff to have. Yeah, crazy cheap price. I always have to pay 10% tax on places like Knife Center, and they charge like... Knife Center charges some shipping too, so I was happy with the $30. But yeah, they're cheap little knives. And like I said, the bearings that you need to use are these, they're these right here, I believe. Yeah, they're 10.6 by 6.2 by 1.58. And then just a couple of thin silver washers that you might have from any knife. Trying to remember where I had that. I had my skiffs all together. Missing a skiff. Right here. So this is the bag that I put those two big thick washers in. I lost those. These are the skiffs that almost worked. All right, skiffs. You got yours for $5, folks. That's awesome. Pete made me buy a stupid knife last night on eBay I didn't even really want. All you got to do is send me a link to a knife and I'll pretty much buy it a lot of times. Stupid. We've been talking about the Sumo because I'm going to be selling my Sumo. And so he sent me a link to a poor man's Sumo, which is a Tucson. So I bid on it and I won it. It's the, I was happy with the price though, because the original, the White Mountain Knives, before they sold out of it, it was $104.99. So you'd have got $10 off that. So it would have been like $95 on White Mountain Knives. And I got it for $50.99. So, nearly half price. Where are my stupid purchases? All right, here we go. So this is the one I bought. I got it for 50. Heck, I don't know. Yeah, $50.99. But it looks like a poor man's Sumo. Here you go. Here's a link to it. Want to see it? Here we go. So yeah, I got it for $50.99. And it is this one. Kind of looks like a Sumo. It's got the same kind of little, you know, not a button lock. So really not a Sumo. But it's an M390 knife for $50. So I'm cool with it. It's a Wong design. I don't even know how long the blade is. I placed one bid on it and won. I didn't even have to like fight. Looks like it is blade length 2.7 inch. So that's pretty cool. I don't blame Pete. I blame myself. But also Pete, because I wouldn't have seen it if he didn't show it to me. I like how the clip is symmetrical and centered. I like how it looks closed too. Kind of like a, you know, whatever. Yeah, I saw that Gerber Sumo the other day because I wondered why there was another knife. Somebody was selling a Sumo and it popped up in my alerts. And I was like, wait a minute, that's not a Sumo, but it was a Sumo. Backed by the Gerber guarantee. We guarantee it'll be a third of nice as it used to be in the 80s. That's the Gerber guarantee nowadays. Gerber used to have a nice name, man. Back in the 80s and 90s, mid-90s. About the mid-90s is when they started falling off. Like, Gerber, man, golly. But growing up when I was little, man, when we saw somebody had a Gerber knife, we were like, ooh, that's a nice knife, you know. And they were. Oh, good, Pete. You didn't hear me talking about you. But sorry you're feeling bad. That's no good. I swear I didn't give it over to you. I got rid of mine and you took it, huh? So that'll be the second Tucson that I bought that's kind of weird this week. At least this new one is M390. Yeah, the action on this thing's good now. And this would be a heck of a beater knife for 30 bucks. I don't know, it's got a weird... Yeah, but back in the day, Gerbers were something to be proud of. Now they sell... I guess you're right, they just went the mass production way and have knife at any price. I don't like how they put that huge billboarding on both sides. They could have left off the OKC Taiwan. I don't have a single Gerber that I like, I don't think. So I can't relate, Pete. I guess I need to find me a good one. Give them a chance. No, screw that. I'm not giving Gerber or Kershaw a chance. Kershaw is the same way. The only two Kershaws I like are the Iridium and the Bel Air. The Bel Air and the Iridium are nice knives. Other than that, Kershaw is the same way. Yeah, back in the day when you'd go in a hardware store, they had the cases that had the Gerbers in them. And as little kids, I remember like being super excited to see the new Gerber like on display. Of course, they had the Bucks in there too. And you know, the Bucks were nice. I mean, they were nice enough. I don't really remember the Camellis or whatever. However you say that. Ones that have been around forever. Camillus. Yeah. I talk trash about all that, but I've got a bunch of the Launch Series clones. And I've got a real Launch 20 that I'm selling. And I sold William a Launch 16. So I had a real Launch 16 and a Launch 20. So I was giving them a shot, but I'll tell you one that I do want is that that one that they made. They made two of them back. They made one a while ago. Is it the? It's not the Live. What's it called? It's shaped weird, and they made like a 25th anniversary edition one. The Kershaw. I know y'all know what I'm talking about. It's a real sleek looking knife, and they made two of them, an old one and a new one. Is it called the Live? No, that's the Live Wire. The Tilt. It's a 50th anniversary, but I think I want an original Tilt and a new Tilt just because, like, they're so wild looking. Not the Live Wire, the Tilt. But the original Tilt, let's see, Kershaw Tilt OG. Then and Now. Here's Dirk. Let's watch Dirk.
What I've got today is the Tilt 50th Anniversary Edition and the original Tilt from back in the day. So this belongs to Alex over at the Watch and Cut channel. This is the new 50th Anniversary Tilt. And this belongs to my friend Rob over in Utah. And this is not the original scales, but we'll talk about that. And he lent this in. These are cool knives. not really my style, but that's okay. I love doing videos on knives
Yes.
that are not necessarily
I would only get them
my
because
style.
of like
Because
the 50-year-old factor.
it kind of forces me to be a little more objective, maybe, and to really look at the knives. It's really easy for me to do a
'cause they're
video
wild.
on something I love, like this custom Hellraiser. Like, I love it. I could talk about how great it is all the time, and I
Dirk
kind of go on and on.
he's in the hospital.
Where a knife that I don't necessarily love the look of is
That's no good.
a little different for me. Sometimes I get knives in and it takes me a while to film them because I don't love it. Doesn't really do anything for me. And so I have to kind of build up to it. But anyway, I'm getting off track here. So they're both the same size.
Yeah, those are pretty
and
cool.
specs for the most part. So I'm going to give you some of the highlight specs, but they're basically the same.
Let me
Just
see.
one was aftermarket scale that Rob found a few. It also has heavy milling over here for weight savings. And this aftermarket scale that Rob found a few years back really shows that. Now you can see the milling and stuff on the inside from here a little bit, but with that new scale, it just
I want to see the action.
1.5 is they have two blade steels. So this older one is 14C 28N up here on the spine and Vanex 75 down here on the cutting edge. They carried over that same dual steel on the new one, and they used crew wear down here on the cutting edge and 420 up here on the spine. Can't really see where it's matched. I'm guessing it's in this black line. As I was prepping to film this video, one of these was on Arizona Custom Knives for $2,500. You can ask any price you want for any item out there. If I really wanted to, I could.
That's pretty wild. Okay, maybe I don't want
one.
one.
I just did one video because the Hellraisers.
Anyway, that's a wild looking Kershaw.
I have a Kershaw playlist I think I'll put up in the corner.
Whoops. Morning, JD. Something was infected. I can relate with that. I had something infected this week. You know, quite a few people die from tooth infections if not treated properly. I swear this thing is super fun to play with now that I fixed it. I got a guy coming to paint my kitchen cabinets this morning. I think I just heard him in the back driveway. I told him I'd be shooting a video and he could just come on in and get started, so I'm tired of white cabinets in my kitchen. I'm going with brown. Man, I love this knife. I wouldn't pay for the real thing, but man, this thing has got to be really close to the real thing with that coil spring the same down in there. Because the lockup on this thing is crazy wild, and it is a real integral. And everything about it is just about perfect. It's got M390, real M390. So, couldn't ask for more. And it is perfect representation of when I think it's okay when there's overpriced production knives. But it's It's my opinion. You don't have to have it. You don't have to like it. It's totally all right. I still love you. This is another probably case of that. But I don't know. They seem to be throwing out a bunch of Harseys lately. And I don't know. I don't get into the it's okay for one knife but not for the next. Like you're either for it or against it. There is no middle ground. Can't say, well, it's okay for that knife, but not okay for this knife. Which kind of reminds me, I wanted to open up some of these boxes and see what these knives are. I don't even know what some of these are that are sitting over here. I know what some of them are, but I don't know what all of them are. Let's see, what is this one? It's a concept. I'm supposed to do an unboxing on it. Oh yeah, it's my Sibin. Well, there's my Sibin. Good old plain Jane Sibin. I never shot the unboxing video for this, so it's just been sitting here. I guess it's wild enough design on with the edgy blade works. I can shoot the unboxing whenever. Yeah, that's not an axis lock, really, JD. This doesn't have Omega springs like most axis locks. This one's different. That's why I like it so much, really. So, and that's why the lockup is so great on it. Because most axis lock knives have a little bit of play in them. This one has absolutely zero. But this one has a coil spring that lays in the back here. Since this is an integral, you couldn't put Omega springs in it because you couldn't get in there. There's not a line. It's all one piece. So there's a coil spring that lays on the back here, and it pushes on the. You can see it when I show you up inside there. There's a coil spring that's attached to the back of the spine of the handle, and it goes up and pushes on this mechanism to lock the blade in place. So that's why this one's so cool and the action's so good on it, because it doesn't feel like an Omega spring knife. I had the frag and I sent it back and got this one. Yeah, it's got a coil spring in there. It's a pretty cool mechanism. It's different than all other Omega spring axis locks. Yeah, Pete, I had the frag one, and I might have shot a video of it, and then I sent it back to Amazon and got this one. I think that might have been what happened. I might have a video of this Sibin. I'm not sure. Let's see what else we got here in this pile. All right, next we got the Berg blades that I still need to get rid of. Beautiful little knife. I'm just not a fan of the Anno, and I don't want to mess it up for somebody who would like it. Basically brand new though. I love the hollow grind on it. I see it. It's all right, TC. You don't have to be here in person. You can listen. I appreciate you listening, buddy. Oh, look. It's a Devo box. No, the Manix is a crossbar. I mean, a regular Omega spring. I could grab one and show you. I've got one right here. Yes, you can strip that gold anno easy because it wasn't done with heat, I don't think. I think it was done with electricity. I'm not positive, but I'm pretty positive. It might look a little dull. But no, you can see up in there. Oh, you might be right. Look. Is that a spring up in there? No, that's jimping. That's the jimping up here. That's those two little lines. Pretty sure. I don't know. Let's find out. You might have got me. But I could have sworn I've seen these taken apart and they have Omega springs. Am I wrong? I could very well be wrong. I'm wrong lots. Especially about knives I've not taken apart. This one has never been apart, never been touched, brand new, never been carried, never cut anything. I bought the crew, huh? I bought this crewwear version and have never touched it. What do we got in here? Oh, it's got a coil spring. You were right, JD. It's got the same kind of mechanism, kinda. I could have sworn some of them don't, though. Do all of them have that? Wow, I'm an idiot. I guess they do. Huh. Well, this lock has got to be different a little bit then, or something. Something's different. I don't know. That one feels pretty solid, too. Yeah, everybody should have a Mannix. I do agree with that, Pete. Okay, TC. By the way, TC, I'll get that Norseman sent off today after the video. I didn't get it sent off yesterday because, you know, I just didn't. He can purple anno it. I'm confident in him. Well, thank you, JD. I didn't know that. I like learning stuff. Yeah, so next we were halfway opening this Devo. And I think this is Pete's knife. I was wondering why this knife was just so buttery smooth. I mean, it's so like drops perfect action. Like it just drops shut so good. And so I was digging around in the bag for it yesterday, and I pulled this out and noticed that it came with a full extra hardware kit. And then I felt something else down in there, and I was like, what is that else down in there? And it's the original bearings with the skiff bag. So it's on skiffs, and I had totally forgotten about that. So I told Pete that it was on skiffs, and then I wished I wouldn't have, because I just bought another one of these for me that's a plain Jane, and I want skiffs in it. So I want to take these skiffs out. And put the originals back in for Pete. But I guess I can't do that now because I told him it had skiffs. Dang it. Such an idiot. So this knife doesn't count, I guess, because I think Pete's buying it. Uh-oh. We got another concept. This one almost feels empty. I think it is empty because it doesn't have a... There's a bag. Oh. Uh-oh. What is that? It must be that Eagle Strike they sent me. Aha. Is that the Eagle Strike? What is that? Yep, that's the new Eagle Strike they sent me. I forgot about that. So that was a dud box. I needed to know where that was, though, I guess. I've got it in a case. All right. Then I got a Kubi box. It's got a brand new steel sealed titanium Hyperion with the nice milling. I don't know if you can see that micro milling, but it has micro milling. I've got another one. I don't know why I bought two of these. I think this would make a good giveaway knife. But it does have micro milling. You can't see it through the plastic because it's so small, but I'm not opening it. Just I can show you my other one if you really want to see the micro milling. Then we got my other Devo that I've never carried. It came with a sticker, so I have a Devo sticker. And that is the Growler. I need to do something to this knife. I need to acid wash and stone wash this blade. That's what I need to do to this one. It's already stone washed, but I need to darken it and re-stone wash it. Action on this one's good too. The Growler. Do y'all know what what Growler is another term for? I believe in the UK. Besides the alcohol related term. I think it's in the UK. Good morning, Mr. Ron Crow. All right, we got two left. That is this. I still need to shoot an unboxing of this thing because of how nice it is. Yeah, but it also has another meaning, Pete. It has a perverted meaning. I'm pretty sure. But this thing is beautiful. It is wicked big. It is a hoss. In fact, it makes the Harsey, huh? I wouldn't have thought that about the Harsey, but they're about the same size knife. But compared to the, whoops, that didn't go in there. Compared to the Buzz, it's a big knife. Let's see. So there's the Buzz compared to it. All right, Pete. We'll see you on the other side of the trenches. Let's see. What else we got? Oh, yeah. We got the knife that started it all. We talked this morning about the... We got the... Oh, we got a couple more. Live captions. Yeah, they would have problem figuring out what I'm saying. I love this little exclusive. This is another knife. It's like basically brand new. Never carried it. Got great action. The raccoon. I don't know why I haven't carried it. I like everything about how it looks. It's an exclusive model from somewhere. But yeah, man, the action on this thing is buttery. Now I know this is an access lock. I like my access locks where you can tilt the knife straight up, you can pull it and like get like 6 or 7 different stops on the way down. That's how I test my access locks. Whether they grab the blade good and hold it, have drop shut action, but will hold the blade like that. Love that little raccoon. It's just laying over here. It's just a random knife I have laying around. And then this is my other haptic. I forgot that I bought, now I've got 2 haptics and 2, I've got an extra haptic and I've got an extra, and I've got an extra Spectre. So I've got the 2 nice Hilberg versions, Lion Blade Works and Hilberg versions of both of those. I got to get rid of both of those, but they're worth a lot of money now. That Spectre's beautiful though. That lock is pretty high up there. But yeah, now I've got 2 of those of each. This haptic is a little darker than the one I've got or that I'm going to keep. But still such a great knife. Holt makes such great knives. The action on this thing is just butter. The milling on it is great. Got fingerprints on it. Such a perfect size knife for most of y'all too. I can get comfortably, it's a 3.5 finger knife for me. If I lock my finger in where it's comfortable, it's 3.5. Yeah, the haptic is such a cool knife. I need to anno this one a real bright color and it would sell better. I mean, it'll sell easy because of how hard they are to find. This one's got M390. What's cool about this is like, I mean, look at that milled backspacer. Like even the touches they do on it, the milling on the inside of the curve of the clip there, the straight line milling here, little pattern, beautiful. So let me show you something cool about this knife. So subtle, but if you take it apart, let me show you something here. Okay, must be the other side. Okay, that went onto the floor. Yay. Well, I will find you when I need you. I love dropping stuff on the floor. It's awesome. That's the back one. This is the front one. Come on, screw. All right, that's the front one. Wow, tight. There we go. So I don't guess I had to do that. But I thought maybe that's a different one. Yeah, that's a different one. So they put, I guess we could have seen it without doing that, but it's on the flipper tab. And it's not M390. It's S90V. I was totally talking about a different knife. So I guess it's the Rask. No, it's not the Rask either. It's the, one of them has the M390 written on the inside of the scale though. They didn't want to mess up the blade. So it's S90V. Yeah, I know I won't regret it. But for the same price, I'm able to get a whole, a Spectre, a Haptic, a Rask, a Norseman, and something else. I've got 5 knives for the price of one. This thing does not want to go back together. It's probably got D-shaped. I don't know why I took this thing apart. It's going to be a pain in the butt to get back together. I hate knives that have D-shaped little barrel spacers in the back for the pivot. Good grief. What is going on here? Don't have that right. Alright, that goes like that. I don't think these are D-shaped, but they are awkward. And this doesn't want to go back on. It's very tight. Can't get those pushed back in. Maybe they are D-shaped. Hold on. Let me take a closer look here. No, they're just not lined up right. I guess. What in the world is going on here? Why won't that go back together? Is this stupid thing D-shaped? Are these D-shaped? I know y'all love watching me take apart and put knives back together. I should do this later when I'm not on stream. Because you got to hold these stupid. They want to fall right out. Oh my goodness. I'll hold them with one hand while I... Alright. Now stay in there. Try to get them in there first. That's probably the problem. There we go. Now I got it, almost. Need to throw those 2 screws in there and then worry about the pivot later. Let me get these 2 screws back in here. And then I'll be back with y'all and quit messing with this for a second because I dropped the pivot on the floor anyway. Alright. At least I got those back in. Ah, he says as he drops the stupid screw. Alright, there we go. Now I just got to get the pivot back in place, but Shouldn't be too difficult. I gotta find it on the floor anyway. Yeah, great knife. Oh yeah, and then the last one that I was talking about was the Sumo. Such a good deal on this knife. This is a $500 knife that I got for a couple $100. Brand new, never been used. DLC, black wash, never cut anything. Super fun knife. It just doesn't fit my hands. That's why I'm getting rid of it. Are the bearings on the pivot? Yeah, they were, I believe. I think the pivot's D-shaped and I just got to get it turned the right way. But I'll worry about that off stream later. Yeah, I like the little wooden box and all that too. Let me see if I can find the actual pivot down here. Where it get rolled under the table maybe. Nope, don't see it. Found something rubber. Where in the heck did you go, pivot? It went way up under there. Oh my God, I just spilt my coffee. Yep, that's my favorite. Dropping pivots and spilling coffee all in the same motion. I almost got coffee on these knife boxes I just set over to the side. I don't know what that little rubber thing is. Speaking of which, this had a little piece of rubber inside the scales here. That's a weird little thing. If you've never taken one of these apart, it's fun. Because the magnets want to keep grabbing everything and pulling the washers off the pivot and some more stuff. So that's always fun. Let's see. Use my ruler and see if I can find the pivot under here. Uh-oh. I heard something. I think I found it. Nope. What is that? Good grief, I'm finding all kinds of stuff under here. But not the pivot. Maybe it rolled the other direction. Heck, I don't know. The haptic pivot is officially lost. TC, you jinxed me this morning. You said you lost 2 pivots. Well, I'm really blaming everybody this morning. Pete's the reason I bought the stupid Tucson. Which, it's not a stupid Tucson. Oh well, I give up. We gotta look at more knives. What do y'all want to look at? Oh yeah, my tomorrow my Tempest should be here. My downdraft version, this knife right here, the Hellstorm edition. That should be here tomorrow, I believe. So that's cool. I'm looking forward to checking that thing out. Found it. Yeah, I can't wait to check that out. Found the pivot. Are y'all like me? Do y'all have a bunch of just random knives laying around? I still got to get a real one of these too. Now, drummer, I will take your advice on getting a real TRM. But, like I said, and I know a real Holt would be worth it, and that is on my grill. I will get one, drummer. I'm just messing with you. I want a Morpheus because I don't know that they make a Morpheus clone, but in the time being, I want I got these five right here are like my 5 Grail ones. My Rask. And the Rask does have an M390 on the outside of the blade, so that's not the one I was talking about. My Spectre. My Spectre doesn't... Oh, it says M390 on the flipper tab. My Norseman says M390 on the blade. My Haptic says S90V on the flipper tab. And my Chamois says M390 on the blade. So I get to have all 5 of those instead of having one of the real one. And now I got the other version of this one that I got a Riano. So I got 2 of those. I got both milling patterns of those. And then I've also now got a duplicate of that one. Now I've got too many. That's why this one's for... Oh, and I've got the other Haptic. It's right here that goes next to that one. Have a good day, Ron Crow. I wish Hilberg was still around because they did some awesome work. Good morning, Fred the Lug. How are you doing, sir? Still getting prepared for Blade Show. Still selling some knives, or what's going on with that? Let me see if I can just put the pivot in and screw it together and see if that fixes it. Where are you driving to, sir? Yes, I'm being nosy. And no, that's not going to work. I got to loosen these a little, but not take them all the way out. And then that'll let me loosen this enough to get it turned the right way. Does it go a certain way, or what's going on here? I don't know what's going on with it. Why will this pivot not go back in? Is it D-shaped? Yes, yes it is. Aha. It's got to be turned that way, right there. Got it. I knew it was D-shaped. I knew there was something going on with it. I wasn't holding my mouth right, as my dad used to say. All right. Now the haptic is back together. And I didn't even scratch it up. And I probably tightened the pivot a little too tight. Perfect centering. Good to go. Yeah, I've got quite a few I need to sell before I go so I can have some of my Fred fund like you got to buy some new ones with. Because I gotta do the same. I gotta quit spending money on new ones and just get an account going and flip that count around. I got enough now that I can do that. Anything new and exciting coming out? Let's see. Let's go look at new arrivals at Blade HQ real quick. See if they got anything. Case knives. We were just talking about that. The Odd 21. Yeah, there's that one. Huh. That's kind of weird. I got a regular blade one. Yeah. I love that knife. It's so comfortable. That blue's kind of different. Blue Magna Cut. Huh, I like that one too. Just wish they wouldn't do the 3 little holes. That knife would be perfect without those 3 holes. That version right there. What has this one got going on? Oh, yeah, that's their high dollar one. Fafnir, that's that new pattern. It's not new, but that is that pattern is what I meant. Fafnir. Let's see, what else? The BRR 15. That's pretty cool, Warncliffe. Best Tech Ether. I think that was another one of those Best Techs that we looked at. Yeah. The Ether prototype in S90V. Yeah, we had looked at that one on Reddit. Yeah, Blake McDade. Yeah, that's the one we talked about. I talked about how he showed the... I was like, who is this Blake? Yeah, right here. We asked him, I think Pete asked him how much he was going to charge. In fact, I know Pete did. I love that knife. Yeah, Fred, that's an awesome knife, man. I got to have one of those. I can't remember what Pete said he was going to charge, though, but he messaged... Yeah, and it also comes in a plain version, not micro milled, but I like the micro milled one. So there's both versions. Yeah, Bestech's doing their thing recently. Let's see. Is it out yet? I don't think so. Because that wasn't that long ago when we saw that ether on Reddit. This was only 22 days ago, so if it was a prototype then, it probably still is. Yeah, the clip is a little too big. You're right. You're right, mister. Mister. I'm happy I got that M390 Tucson, though, for $50. I mean, you can't beat a good little 2.7 inch M390 knife for $50. I love how it's symmetrical, too. Clip right down the middle. Looks the same front to back, back to front. So let's go back where we were for a second. Excuse that noise. That's somebody in my driveway, the paint guy. I've got one of those alarms out here that tells me if somebody pulls in. So when I'm doing videos, I can hear that going on. There's that bison again. TC's supposed to be sending me this purple one to check out. At least I thought he was. I guess I'll send his Norseman as soon as I get this purple bison. No, I'm just joking. I like that Hyra too. Yeah, that's right, Pete. You said like you had to order it from, or you had to do something weird with it, like get it from Bestech or something, or there was something weird about it, Pete. Oh, thank you for reminding me that, Pete. There's a Vosteed fixed blade that I've got to have. And it is the H-back. And they're sold out. But I've got to have one of these knives. $69. I love everything about that little knife. 2.92 inch blade, perfect. It's got their new clip that they're calling they call it something. But you can scout carry it or carry it the SOAR, secured omni adjustable rotation. So it's got a SOAR clip. I gotta have one of those knives. So keep your eye out if you see one pop up. I want the blue one. I got 3 different versions, but I want the blue one. I would take the black one, but I want the blue one with the SOAR clip. I mean, that's a great little fixie. Yeah, that is a sick. That is my blade shape. That harpoon, like that thumb ramp. I love that. Morning, Mr. Whalen. Oh, and I had one more link for a good value knife today that I posted from work last night, and that is this S35VN Fintiso So right now they have this black carbon fiber version with S35VN, and they have a 50% off coupon. So it makes it $70 for this knife with S35VN. 3.1 inch blade, button lock. And I've been really impressed with my Fintiso knives. I've got 3 or 4 of them. And I love that they threw this video in at the end how to properly disassemble a folding knife. Whoever did it's wrong, though. That's a T8. I guarantee you. It might not be, but I'm pretty sure it is. Yeah, they got them backwards. But it's pretty cool that they added this video on here. Totally unlike the Carter Prime that you saw earlier, where that would void your warranty if you took it apart. Look, it's so easy. Even a girl can do it. Whoa, what is that? What in the world? She's taking apart a button lock, too. Ceramic ball bearing pivot. Wow. She even knew to use the... I'm impressed. Color me impressed. I don't know why. What do y'all want to bet? I bet she's not a white girl. What do you want to bet? I bet she's Asian. I would be much more confident in an Asian putting my knife back together than a white chick. I don't know how that sounds, but take it however you want to, but I think probably Asian chicks are way more competent at that. They seem more detail oriented. I'm totally bashing white American women, huh? I'd say she's probably Asian, but since the knife company, I don't know. She seems way too... She's better at me. She's better than me at it. So whoever she is, she's great. She just made that look simple. Where's our buddy Keep It Scale Stupid? He said he was going to take apart a knife sometime soon. You should watch this. Check to see the blade centered. Look, hold the blade by hand to keep it centered and tighten it up. Wow. She's even adjusting it. There we go. Now we got a worker. Wow. Fintiso doing their thing. I would have to agree with you there, drummer. I'm so sick of American chicks. I like anything with a little color in it. Yeah, I gotta have one of those H-backs. If I could find one today, I would start EDCing that thing, scout carry. I'd rotate that clip, scout carry it, and learn how to appreciate a good little fixie. Because it's a perfect size. 3 inches. That's what she said. So yeah, guys, I gotta meet somebody here in a minute. So I forgot about that. So dang, I gotta end the video pretty abruptly. Not like real abruptly. I got like 5 minutes. Morning, Gabe Harlan. But I totally forgot about that. We're almost at an hour and 40 minutes, so it was a perfectly suitable, fine video today. Don't forget, knives are life, but yet clones are life. I thought you were still talking about that girl. You said not a lot of meat on the bone. But you're talking about the Vosteed, huh? What in the world? Let's go look at it one more time because I don't believe you. No, I'm just joking. I don't remember. Oh yeah, you'd have to put a little bit bigger sharpening choil in it. I'd just Dremel a little bit bigger sharpening choil. I mean, it's got some life on the blade. But yeah, it does need a little more. But you could just run one of those little small drum sanders right up in there and make that bigger. So yeah, if y'all need me, you know how to get a hold of me. Appreciate y'all. Love y'all. Hate the drama. Hate the cliques in the knife community. Wish the whole community was as cool as all the individual people are. That's all I'll say about that. I've met some of the coolest people, but yet when they get together with more than one of them, sometimes they go astray and talk a bunch of crap. Anyway, I'm not with all that, so I'm not going to do it anymore. Watch the beginning of this video, and that's my last statement on the issue. Love you guys. See you tomorrow. I'm off tomorrow. I'm really going to try tomorrow to get those chemicals mixed so we can do some black anodization on Thursday. So I want to do some black electrolysis anodization with some acids. I haven't done acid in a long time. But anyway, guys, hope you have a great Tuesday. We will see y'all again tomorrow morning.